How's it going, guys? This is the Big E, and today I'm bringing you episode 13 of NBA 2K14 My Career on the Xbox One. We are continuing the middle of a game right now, I believe, but today we're talking about the NCAA tournament and therefore who to expect and what to expect out of this upcoming draft class, headlined by Jabari Parker, Andrew Wiggins, and Julius Randle, of course. Other stars besides those three, James Young, some other Kentucky players, of course. The Harrison twins have said that they're staying, but you never know, they could change their mind at the last second. But to go number one in the draft, that could be any of the three, really, depending on who gets the number one pick. The three, of course, being Parker, Wiggins, and Randle. Overall, number one, at this point, I would still say Andrew Wiggins, even though Kentucky is farther than Kansas in the tournament. I would still say Andrew Wiggins because of his athleticism. He seems to have the highest ceiling out of anyone, especially those three. Obviously his athleticism is through the roof. His jump shot is looking great. He's had a lot of high-scoring games this year. I believe he had at least two 40-point games. He's had some 30-point games as well. And obviously he's just one of those guys who can change the game greatly without really having the ball too much, dominating the ball. He's a pretty good defensive player, but I'm sure that'll be tested in the NBA. As for Jabari Parker, he looks a lot like a younger Paul Pierce to me, more athletic, of course. But he's got almost the same build as a younger Paul Pierce, maybe a little bit taller and thicker. But overall, he's really impressive. His jump shot's amazing. Out of Wiggins, Parker, and himself, Wiggins, Randle, and himself, overall he's the best player right now. But his ceiling, I don't think, is nearly as high as Andrew Wiggins. But I see Jabari Parker going number 2 overall out of those three, and anyone going into the draft in general. Number 3, I see Julius Randle going, simply because his size for the position he is. Obviously he's a power forward, maybe a big small forward depending on how teams want to use him. But he's not that big for a power forward or even a small center, especially in the NBA. Even for a team that's smaller and wants to run, he's 6'8", 6'9", but obviously he's a big down low and he's good in the post. But I believe his size will be tested. As for his ceiling, I could see him being a okay version of Karl Malone in the league. I don't see him averaging 25 a game like Karl Malone did for his career or anything crazy like that. I don't see him breaking any records in the league or anything like that at all. But I do expect Parker Parker and all three of them really, and Julius Randle to be pretty good. And I see Julius Randle averaging a double-double his first year in the league, as well as Jabari Parker. I could see him averaging a double-double as well, because he's had some pretty impressive rebounding games this year. I believe he averaged about 9 rebounds a game for Duke this year, which is pretty impressive considering he played mostly small forward over anything else. And as for his scoring ability, I would put him second out of him, Wiggins, and Randle in scoring. His scoring, he has a good jump shot, but overall, I'd give the scoring award to Wiggins. He seems like he could score the easiest, especially when he's driving to the hoop and on the fast break. He's almost nearly unstoppable because of his athleticism. He can basically just jump over just about anyone in his way, and he can obviously finish with contact, and he's shown that a lot this year for Kansas. Even though they lost, a lot of that could be put on the fact that their point guard was out. Watching their last game, you could tell that they needed a point guard really badly. They had a bunch of turnovers, and the point guard that they did have, it seemed like he had trouble getting the ball to Wiggins, because it seemed like Wiggins didn't have the ball nearly as much as he should have, which was kind of disappointing to watch, and it made the game kind of boring. But overall, I don't put the loss on him at all, and I don't think NBA scouts should look at it that way as either, because it seemed like he's basically on the court by himself for Kansas. As for Duke's early loss in the tournament, I don't think that's too much of a big deal because their best player, of course, was of course the freshman of Jabari Parker. I see him going to the draft, obviously. I don't know how Duke will do in the future because I'm not that huge on college basketball, but I see Parker being pretty successful in the NBA. I could see him averaging, 15 or 17 points a game out of the gate. And I could see him averaging around, 20, maybe 23 or 24 in the league for his career. Well, not for his career, at least for a good stretch of years there when he's younger. But overall, the one with the most success, especially with their team in general, I would say that's probably going to be Andrew Wiggins as well, just because of what he can bring to a franchise. He seems to have broad shoulders in the sense of what he can do for a team, and I see him being like a younger, maybe not as good version of LeBron, because he's so athletic and just his build, obviously, especially going in the league. Now he has, the build of a younger LeBron, except a little thicker, and he has a better jump shot than LeBron did coming in the league. So overall, number one, I would take Andrew Wiggins, but the rest of the draft this year is going to be pretty good as well. I'm looking forward to seeing how they will impact the league. I think they could impact the league pretty greatly right away, but we'll see how that is. And of course, we're looking forward to NBA 2K15 for confirmation of all that. Thank you guys for watching, and for now, feel free to subscribe and like this